Whenever we write a program, we need data, and we manipulate that data and process the data to retrieve some information. So that data may be a person data like person name, ID, address, or student data or employee data, and we put that data in our memory. And we don't have to access the memory or put data directly to the memory or remember the memory address. Instead, we actually declare variables, and we put data into variables, and that variable actually points to a specific memory location. For example, if I want to put a data, for example, an age of a person, to do that I need to first of all declare the data type, that means int. This is short for integer, and then the variable name, that means age, and then use the equal sign and assign a value. So right now I have declared a variable age of type integer, and I have assigned 20 inside this age property or variable. And also I can print the value of age just like that inside the print function. Just pass the age variable, and if you run this program, then you will see that the value we have assigned in this age variable has been displayed in the console. So this is the very basic data type, and we'll be actually talking about the very basic data types in Dirt that we quite often use in any program. So this is our first data type, and one more noticeable thing in Dirt is, in Dirt, every data type is actually a reference type. If I click int, and you see in this documentation panel, it clearly says that actually int is a class, and that extends some other class called num. So in Dirt, every data type is like a reference, and like other reference, we can put a dot and access the properties and methods from that reference or from that class. So also I can call other properties or method from this variable. For example, if I want to know if this age is actually an even number or an odd number, for example, if I select this one is even, and we know that 20 is actually an even number, and this statements actually return Boolean, true or false. So if I run this now, it will print true. That means it's saying that this age, that means 20, is actually an even number. If you want to put a decimal number, for example, a pi, then you have to declare another data type, for example, double, and then declare the type, a variable name, for example, pi, and then assign the value 3.14159 and so on. And this is another data type. Whenever we want to put a number of type decimal, we use the type double, or for full number, we typically use the data type integer. And also you can also call the properties and methods from this double reference, for example, pi dot, and you will see there are lots of helper methods and properties to manipulate this value. Okay, so these are the basic two data types to represent or to store a number. For a full number, we have the integer type. For decimal number, we have the double type. And there is another type associated with number, that is called num. This is short for number. So for example, if I declare another variable, say like zip code, and assign few number over here, and the specialty of number is that you can assign either a full number or a decimal number inside or to a number type variable. For example, this is actually an integer number. Also, I can put a decimal number inside this number or inside this number type. But for age, I have declared the type integer. Here, you cannot assign a decimal number inside an integer type variable. For example, 20.1, if I do that, you see that we see an error, and you can show the error if you actually keep open this panel. You see that a value of type double cannot be assigned to a variable of type integer. All it is trying to say is this is a value of type double, and I cannot assign this value to a variable of type integer. So we need to specify the data type, and we need to use the data type or select the data type according to the data we have in our hand. So these are the three types that are associated with number. In summary, if you are sure that you have a number that is a full number and it cannot be a decimal number, then directly use this int type. And if you think that you have some data or number that is always decimal, then try to use the double type. And if you are not sure that I have a data or I have a number, but that can be either an integer or double, then you should use the number type. And an interesting fact about this three type is this int and double both are the subclasses of the number type. If I click integer, you see that int actually extends number and double also extends number. So this num is actually the parent type, and int and double are actually the child of that number.